this proclamation, when they asked us to draft it, we told them that we wanted it to reflect what our organization is about, which is ethnic equality and equity, where all ethnic voices are heard. And so we didn't want, we did not want some ethnicities to be lost in our communities here. And our organization, yes, we have provided ourselves as a platform to help work with your office, the county executives, and all that to broker ethnic groups. Right. We've been doing this for the past 17 years.
Right.
And I'll just give an example. Last year, my mom passed last year. So while she was in the hospital, it was a nurse that I had seen, and I saw him again another day. And I typically make friends with, I'm friendly with the nurses or anyone who's taking care of my mom. And I asked him where he was from, and he said he's from Tigray. And then he said that he had not seen his family for 4 years. He has not heard from them. I said, why? He said, because they have been fighting between them and Ethiopia. And this is someone taking care of my mother. If you haven't seen and heard from your family, you don't know how they are, you know there's war there. I don't know how you can do your work. And so that's what this segment is about. We wanted to shine light on those social groups or ethnicities that nobody talks about. Every day we hear about Ukraine. They have all kinds of resources for Ukraine, from them appearing on TV, someone hearing about them, to pleading with everyone to provide support to them. But what about Tigray? What about Cameroon? Cameroon would have been here, but then they had a conflict because they were trying to raise money for those victims that were moved from Cameroon to Nigeria to the refugee camp. We have been working with some people on ground because we have our chapters we have one in Cameroon, we have one in Nigeria, and we know about the IDP camps. And those places are not a place that a human being can be kept, because it's not like here where someone is held accountable.
Right.
And so, but they're still a part of us. That's what Achebe Day is for, and that's what the Ethnic Folklore Festival is about. It's about being able to tell your own story. What is your story? If I told your story, I'm not going to tell it the way that you would like it to be. But if you told your story, then you will be able to tell me how you feel. And so we would like Tigray to tell you their story, because they live in our communities here. And we would like for you to be able to let us know what you can do with their group, with us also being their support. So that's why we asked you to, as the vice chair of the council members, right, to be the keynote for this session. And so that as a fellow woman too, that way you can also, understand, as women, we are the ones that provide the support. And we're not saying that we're only talking about women. We want to, our children, our husbands, our brothers, our daughters, our sons, they're all caught up in this situation, and then yet we work with them every day. That's a summary, and we don't know how they feel. So I'm just going to leave it there and then turn it over to you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Walla Plagay. I am a Liberian and Nigerian American. I am currently vice chair of the council, and I've been actually in the council, a council member for District 6, and it's explained District 6 includes Mitchellville, parts of Largo, most of Largo, Forestville, most of Upper Marlboro, and parts of the Bowie, which is near Fairwood, so down the street. So before I talk a little bit, I can't be here long, but I do want to hear from everyone. I would like everyone to introduce themselves and where you live, and if you live in the county, so that I can get to know, since it's a nice, intimate group.
Sure. I guess I can start. Hello, everyone. My name is Aiden Patra. I live in Virginia, actually, but I am part of all the Tigray Women Association in DMV. So I'm very honored to meet you, and thank you for giving us your afternoon. We understand that you're busy, but thank you for allowing us. And I'll go ahead. You guys can go ahead and introduce me.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ahmed, and I'm from Tigray. And I live in Baltimore County. And I'm glad to you guys have us here. Hear our story, and thank you. Hi, my name is Katamarata. I live in Montgomery County, but I kind of did most of my grown-ups in Prince George County, in Temple Hills, Maryland. In fact, my sister is a police officer for PG County, so most of my family live in Prince George County. And we are a member of the, like my friends here, we are a member of the Tigray Women Association in the DMV area. And it's an honor to meet you.
The honor. You?
And I'm Jean Fields. I'm originally from New York. And by saying that, I mean that New York is a real serious melting pot. So I believe in walking. And, it's open to interact with people. And sometimes, you know what's going on within a different culture. Sometimes you don't. The other day, a couple of weeks ago, I spoke with a friend of mine from Somalia, and I called her Ethiopia. And she was telling me about the inner struggle within Ethiopia. And, sometimes she was visiting Ethiopia at the time. She was on her way to Ethiopia. Her daughter didn't want to go, but she wanted to go. So it's just that there are so many things going on in this world that we don't hear anything about. And I mean, we don't hear anything about. We don't hear that over there in Ethiopia, what they were doing, they were sectioning them off in terms of like they had a new government come in, but they didn't want to leave. Okay, so what they did was take over. They blocked the road, nothing could come in, and that's starvation.
And I appreciate you. I just don't have a lot of time
I apologize.
to do a quick thing because I wanted to make sure I could talk to everyone.
apologize.
No problem. And I really appreciate your words. I definitely do. Please tell me where. Do you live in the county?
In Prince George County, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we can continue.
Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Ada Omilia. I was born in Nigeria, but I'm here right now. So I would like to join the conversation. So I don't know where you guys.
We just started.
You just started, okay. All right. So when it gets to my turn.
Yeah, we're just doing intros just so I know who everybody is at the table before I open up and
I
speak.
forgot to say that I live in Virginia.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Marila Ward. I'm from Montgomery County, Maryland, but originally from Haiti, the island of Haiti in the Caribbean. I have Ward with me, some of my friends who just came from Haiti. They just want to introduce themselves as you ask. Okay. And I'm in front of the Ebony Network.
Hello to all. My name is Laborde Nesmi. I just came under the Banning program.
Thank you.
Hello, hi. My name is Maggie Luz. I just come from AD under the Biden program.
Hello, my name is Christine Royal. I just come from the Andrew Biden program.
Hello, my name is Christine. I just come from Ebony in the Biden program. Go ahead.
What is your name?
So this is Benchi. Benchi is 5 years old. She just came with the Biden program as well, from Haiti.
And we have two guests. You can briefly introduce yourself and where you live.
People don't study that much on me because I don't know you, you want to know me. Well, my name is Maxwell Ibe. I'm a title holder, so they call me Chief. So it's not proper to start Chief Maxwell. I start with my original name. I'm a retired attorney. You are retired, but you're not tired. So as well with whatever network, so that you see the more you can do. I live in Greenbelt. I'm in Greenbelt.
Very good. Thank you.
But I don't have a phone number and I don't have an address. Thank you very much.
Sonia, can you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Sonia Staples. I'm Constituent Service Manager for the Vice Chair. I live in Prince George's County. I was born in Sierra Leone, but I grew up in Washington, D.C., so we're all from somewhere.
So, I'm mistaken. I'm from Nigeria, just the other side.
Well, thank you everyone for introducing yourself. I wanted to just give a couple words, and I know there's supposed to be some discussion, but I wanted to kind of open up talking about some of the things that I've seen that's important for our communities. I would say this, I was born in Washington, D.C., but my parents, my dad was from Liberia, Nuba County, and my mom actually was from Nigeria, in Imo State. And one of the things is that my dad came here to go to school because there was, all of us here are familiar, limitations of education in our home countries. But he wanted to go back, and he intended to go back, but the war broke out. The Civil War broke out in 1980, started brewing in 1989. It started brewing, and what happened was a lot of Liberians had to come here on a TPS program because of the Civil War. So they started coming here in droves. And over time, the community grew. But one of the things, what I wanted to point out, in 2007, we had so many Liberians still on TPS because the war, even though the war started in 1989, the country had not been stable. And another war broke out in 97. And so by 2007, they were taking away, the TPS was expiring. And we were nervous. So at that time I was working in Annapolis. And some of the Liberian community people said, we've invested in you, what can you do to help the community? So I sprung up and I started working with Congressman Sidney Hoyer, and I reached out to the congressman, sat down with him, he was a majority leader at the time. And I said, we need to do something for the Liberian community. And he says, there are a lot of Liberians here? I said, yes. And he didn't know. We sat up a meeting and we met with him, and he said, I'm gonna call President Bush, who was at the time, and just like that, it was extended. Fast forward to 2020. The TPS expires. Again, no, now it's DED, because they transferred from TPS to DED, but Trump is president. So as soon as it expires, they basically say, we're not extending it. So now we have it's less numbers of Liberians on TPS than it was in 2007, than it was in the 1990s. But the point is, we have people who have been here for 30 years that were going to face deportation. And under Trump, they were deported. And what we did is that I had to get up and actually meet with every Liberian community leader and say, we have to move now. We ran to Congress, desperate, meeting with almost every person that we had. We had a meeting with Steny Hoyer, and let me just tell you, Steny Hoyer called the White House. And what the White House said is that, why do we care about them? And it was an eye-opener for the Liberian community who had been around. We have been around, but what we hadn't been is visible. They didn't know, and I would say almost every meeting we went to, people did not know that they were Liberians in their districts. They said, well, they're here? And so what I told the Liberians, and I told them, we were scrambling, and I told them we should never scramble again. Because at the end of the day, all of our leaders should be actively in the face of their elected officials. We should know them. What's been happening is that we've been partying, going to baby showers, weddings, all these things, and then something happens in our home country and we can't even organize to get anything done. And I'll stand up since there's, I guess. Okay, and I'll stand. And I'll stand here if everyone can see me here. And people can sit here if you want to. But the reason why I wanted to tell that story was the reality is that our community was scrambling to let people know that there was something going on and we needed support. But the reality, and I'm going to be honest about our community, we are not as visible as we should be. And people don't know our numbers. They don't realize who we are and how powerful we can be. And other groups have been actually much more active, effective in being in front of their elected leaders. So I want to say, the reason why I say this is because the Liberian community learned a pretty serious lesson. At the end, we won. We got there, we started meeting with people, we let people know. Everyone that we met with said they didn't know that we were there. They didn't know the numbers we had. And when they started to realize, as we started telling Liberians, call your representatives, meet with your representatives, at the end, we ended up, the Liberians that were facing DED ended up getting them halfway to citizenship through actually a budget bill. A budget bill brought them what they needed. But this could have happened a long time ago if we actually stood up and started to say, we need to be visible. So that's why this organization is important. I will say this. When I started running in Prince George's County, the numbers of Africans here, they said about 20% of the population in Prince George's County are Africans. Yet still, I sat in rooms where people said to me, you can't win with an African name. You can't win in Prince George's County being African. That was their assumption because they didn't know our numbers. And they assumed because we were African, you can't win. Now, they wouldn't have said that to somebody who had a Latino background. They wouldn't have said that to a white person, but they said that to me. My name will stop me from getting elected. But I won. I won, and I was the only African in my race. But I won, because at the end of the day, I spoke on the issues, and that's what matters. But what I would say is this, and I've been saying this to the African diaspora for Prince George's County, it's time for us to show our faces. And what's happening is that when issues go on in our country, we should be actually the voice to start to remind people, you're gonna focus on Ukraine, focus on Cameroon, focus on a lot of the various countries now. I mean, even Nigerians are looking at TPS right now. So Nigerians have the largest population in Prince George's County, actually one of the largest populations of Africans in this region. So when Nigerians are looking for temporary protective status, it should be a no-brainer. But what I'm saying is that for our community, we have to show our face. How many of you all have met with your congressional members? Had any meetings with congressional members? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Who'd you meet with? Who'd you meet with? Huh? Senator, okay. Okay. And so how many of you all have met with your council members? 2. How many have met with your state representatives? 3. Everybody should meet with them. We should be setting up meetings with them and with our communities to say, we're here. I was even in the room, I remember it was a very good lesson when he said it, I said, wow. I was in a room, we were at the Liberian Community Association meeting. They have it every year, big event, food, dancing, everything. The mayor of Helena is Liberian, he was a keynote. And when he looked around the room, what he said is that it's sad that I don't see anybody in this room but Liberians. Why? Why aren't we inviting just about every stakeholder to all of our events? They should see us, they should know that we are here. That is the beginning of us advocating for ourselves. Because when we're not doing anything, we should have them sitting in a room. They should be attending your community meetings. They should be talking to you. And if they're not, call them out. Because we are important. And in return, when we get up and say, look, something's going on in our country, and we want you to speak out, they'll do it. They'll have to do it because they know you exist. And I'm not saying that we don't exist in many eyes, but what I would say is for our community, we're not, some of us come from countries where you don't trust the elected officials. So you don't bring them in your house, you don't bring them to your events, all that. Here, it's important. It's almost imperative that every time we get together, and that's why I love World Ebony Network, every time we get together, you're inviting someone in the room so that they can see the ethnic groups that they have here and know that we exist. That's going to be the change that we need, is that if something's going on, civil war is going on in our country, some of us are so used to that we just live every day. We don't ask questions, we don't make demands, we just go, we say, oh, I wash my hands of it, and we'll be here trying to get in touch with family members, sending money through Western Union. That is a temporary thing, that shouldn't even be permanent. Our permanent status should not be just sending money to our families while we spend 30 to 40 years here. We should be here looking for ways to build actual business, build connections to help our family at home. That's more than just sending money. And we should be building relationships here that will make a difference. If you meet with a senator, now that senator was the one that made the term for Liberians, because the senators met with the congressional members and said, this is a way that Liberians will have a pathway to citizenship. What I even turned to Liberians and said, it's a shame that we waited to 2020 for this to happen, when we had our people here for 30 years. Why did we wait? It took Trump. And it took Trump for a lot of Africans to wake up and say, it's time for us to speak up. It took Trump. What the things I even noticed? A lot of Africans are here not registered to vote. Not even registered. We're not even registered. So now we got to go to our community and say, why aren't you registering? Why are you here? How are you here for 30 years? Because the mindset is, I'm going to work and I'm going home. And even for the Haitian community, all of the community, Caribbean community around, the Caribbean community has actually been better than Africans at showing their face. Because if anything goes in Haiti, everyone should be given, because Haitians are all over this country. And if we're contributing to this country, we should not be afraid to ask that they contribute to the countries that we came from. We shouldn't be afraid, because no other group is afraid. So what we have to do going forward today is make sure that we show our faces. It should be if you go a year and you're a part of an organization and you all have not met with your congressional members, haven't met with your council members, haven't met with your state representatives, that's not the pathway. So I'll ask everyone here, that's the goal. We need to make sure any event that you're putting together, that you make sure every local elected official is invited, and that they show up, and that they know that you're there. And honestly, we're starting to do it. I notice people are saying, there's a lot of Africans here, there's a lot of Koreans here, and all. We've been here. We've been here for years, but we've been working and going home, taking care of our family. Going to an event to hang out, going home, taking care of our family. You can still do that, but you have to make sure people know who we are. So I definitely open up to say, I would love to come and meet your community, regardless of whether you all live in Prince George's County or not. And I would love to be a voice. We can do a resolution at the council to get the word out, to get part of people knowing. But I ask all of you all that we start to make this a practice for our community so that we make sure that people know that we live here and we're part of this community, we're contributing. And you know, when we sat in that room and the Republicans while we were trying to get that bill passed, and they said, build the wall because they're criminals. And they kept saying that. And I looked at librarians and said, you can't blame them. They don't even know you're here. They don't know you exist. That's why they say build the wall. They don't even know what they're talking about. We got a bill about librarians, they say build the wall. They don't even know what they're talking about. They say they don't understand that we have numbers. We have numbers here, we do. So I definitely want to open it up for discussion. I know I have to leave in the next 20 minutes, but anybody have any questions? Or I would love to hear from you all if you have any questions or concerns or things that I should think about.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to see if I can, since she has 20 minutes, if you speak for,
Yeah, I'll make it
how
short.
do we divide this 20 minutes? Because there's Haiti and there's you. And Haiti has a more recent solution than you do.
Yes.
So, can you do like 10 minutes?
Sure.
And then she talks and then we can now do the questions. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right.
Can we start with the questions?
Because
Let's start with the
their
question.
situation is unique. And they have a some solution or whatever. And then let's see how it ties into yours before we do the questions. Otherwise, we might, I'm looking at how.
I think we should let's start with the questions and they can present their case and ask the questions. That way we can move forward because I don't want to miss anything.
Okay, all right.
So,
Okay.
question? I don't, okay.
And if you have a comment, you want to explain things before you ask the question. that's fine.
Okay, thanks everybody again, thanks for being here. So our case is a little bit difficult. Tigray genocide, we are from Ethiopia, the northern part of Ethiopia, for those of you who don't know where Tigray is, and we have a really complicated case where war crimes, crimes against humanity, starvation being used as a weapon, rape being used as a weapon, I'm noticing that we have kids here today, mass detentions, forced displacements, like a lot of our situation is intentional and it really is at a high level of cruelty that is really causing a small region, a minority group within Ethiopia, which is about 7 million of us, or up to 10 now, they're still within, they're like basically in a concentration camp. It's a makeshift camp because our people are not able to leave the region. They can't leave the region, nothing can come into the region, so there is a complete disruption of any, there's no services, essential services, basic services such as water, food, medical supplies, you don't see that. So we have, again, our case being really, it's very politicized as well, because we have a country, Ethiopia, itself is basically have its own citizens, its own region. So you have a government that has a voice, has a value, and is seen as being a government. So it trumps everything, especially when you are a region that is standing up against a cruel government. So right now we have a few issues, at least when it comes to the humanitarian situation. What I mean by that is our people who have not been able to leave. It's been 3 years now. It started on November 2020. It's been 3 years. So this whole 3 years, it has been receiving a trickle of aid, a trickle of basic services and supplies. So recently, I don't know if you had a chance to see it, WFP and USAID about 3-4 months ago decided to end or suspend their aid deliveries to the region. USAID Samantha Power is very much aware that she has been supporting 91% of the population of Tigray. because of the aid and also because it still is a conflict area and there is really no other NGOs that is able to deliver any services. So imagine having a region that has been already deprived of basic services and food, and you have children who are dying at 3 times the rate of premature. You have pregnant and lactating mothers who are dying during birth child and everything else that's happening. We're seeing over 165,000 women and girls who have been a victim of conflict-related sexual violence. We have lost 1 million people who have been killed. This has happened in the last 3 years. 1 million people have been killed. I just want that to settle in. So whenever there are all these articles and studies and messages and pleas are coming out, everyone is trying to compare it to Ukraine. All these humanitarian workers and advocates and activists are saying, did you know that Tigray has lost 1 million people? And you are speaking and demanding justice and accountability and asking Putin to go to International Criminal Court over, I'm not devaluing the value of people, but over 10,000 people who have been killed at Ukraine. Within 36 hours of the Ukraine invasion, every NGO, every country, every entity, every social media basically cut ties with Russia. It said, no, if you're going to attack a country, we will not stand by you. 36 hours, I was watching it like at awe. You know why? Because I didn't know the world had that much power. I didn't know it takes 36 hours to respond to a crisis. Then we said, we have been asking you to help us for 2.5 years. The people of Tigray, the diaspora here, we've never took a break. I'm not lying to you when I say this, no one has took a break. And what we've been doing is, even if the world is not going to listen to us, even if the world wants to go ahead and compare us to many things, and even the world, if they want to say, you have a government that is willing to have misinformation, disinformation to get its way, I said, we will take care of our own people. So me and all these mothers and grandmothers that you do see, we are part of this large group of Tigray diaspora that has been answering and demanding and providing help to our people. There is just a short story I can go ahead and tell you, but again, I just want people to understand how serious it is when it comes to Tigray. We are intentionally, the people of Tigray are intentionally being exterminated. That's the goal. Habasto has basically spoken 3 weeks before with the Ethiopian officials, and the Ethiopian officials in their secret meeting before the start of the war said, we will wipe out Tigrayans for 100 years. He came back and he spoke to Al Jazeera and said, there is going to be a genocide on the people of Tigray. No one listened. The Ethiopian government was very confident it was going to take them 3 weeks to take over Tigray, 3 weeks to trump a region and get away with everything. Right now, we have an ECRI mandate. The the Human Rights Council is trying to end the independent investigation. There's an independent investigation that is supposed to be done on Tigray because the numbers are so huge. The violation is, the human rights violations that's taking place is so big that they have assigned UN-led independent investigation team. However, those teams have not been able to get into Tigray. They have asked for access. The Ethiopian government said, I will not give you access, but you can go to the other regions if you feel like it. They said no. So right now, we are on that 1 year right now, which is June 30th. After June 30, even the Human Rights Council have decided to ask for help from the diaspora, to say, please submit any documentations and evidence you may have, so we can say, or we can present it to the Human Rights Council to actually extend the mandate. This mandate, which you probably know, is funding these independent investigation team so they can actually travel to the region to actually do this investigation to make sure that, to determine what has happened. and how high this number is. So, which is, without a doubt, it's the worst thing that could have happened to our world right now. And it still is happening. So we have about 70,000 refugees, over 70,000 refugees who are in Sudan, in the refugee camps, who got caught again on a second conflict, which you guys have already been watching, the Sudan conflict right now. So the people of Tigray have not been able to catch any break. But we don't have an option. Silence is not an option. We will speak. We have been speaking. We will make sure there is justice and accountability for our people. But my only ask is, for you at least, the least we can do for humanity is make sure they have food and water. That is the most basic thing you can do. I can ask for justice and accountability. I can ask for peace. I can ask for people to stop killing our people. But that seems to be a very high reach. USAID and WFP has suspended their aid delivery to Tigray. Every day I am counting the number of people that are dying. It is not a way to live. It's hard for us, but I can't imagine how it is for the mothers and the brothers and the sisters and the wife and the husbands who have not done anything but just have asked for basic food. So our kids have not went back to school for 3 years. I used to be a teacher. I used to live there before. I don't know what's happened to my students. I don't know anything. But what I could actually ask is, on behalf of the Prince County, is that you can submit some sort of an ask and a way to ask USAID and WFP. There is no way to take away food from people who are already starving. We can send you the Yelp review that just came out about a week ago. It says the Ethiopian government is using starvation as a weapon, in which we already have known about this since July 2021. So, on July 2021, the Ethiopian government, along with Russia and China, basically blocked the famine declaration that the UN was planning on working on. Because they declared that famine declaration, we have not been able to say that there is famine in Tigray, but there is famine in Tigray. The people of Tigray for the past 3 years have been on level 4 emergency. You cannot, in your right mind, tell me people can't live for 3 years on a level 4 emergency, because that does not happen. So my ask is, just Google Tigray, Tigray, Tigray genocide. You will learn so much horrific thing that has happened. But what we ask is, when you see our mothers and our grandmothers here who have not spoken to their families in over 3 years, is the least we can do is offer the help, or to say, what can I do to help you? We have plenty of things and plenty of organizations and advocacy groups that are making a difference every day. But what we ask from you is to be a voice and say we should not use food as a weapon, regardless of who they may be or what they may have done or whatever the reason might be. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for this. I just want to know, first of all, this is my first time hearing of it. So I would say this, that we need to work on getting the word out. A couple things, I would actually reach out to my office. What we could do is do a resolution to recognize this issue, because kind of I understand this is unique in a way, but Liberia sort of learned that lesson where it's like no one really knew what was going on, right? You kind of knew some things were going on. So actually, like, putting a resolution forward will put the council on notice that this is happening. And then we would probably have to push that through the council, so you guys would come and actually present, we'll present it, and then we can set up a meeting with the congressional members. It would be good if you have some council members that live in Prince George's County. I can set up a meeting with Congressman Boyer and Congressman Ivy. Those are the two representatives for the county. So we can help with that. I did give you my card, and my constituent director, she's going to give you hers. So we can get that started. We are about to go on recess, so it'll probably be good to get a resolution in the next couple of weeks. And also, I would like you to send me more information on it. What organization is on the ground?
Well, right now, we have the local CSOs that are working there, but we have international NGOs. Which ones are you thinking of?
So what I'm saying is that who is actually giving the food to the Tigray, like
So there is none. No,
nobody's on the ground. So there's nothing to give money to actually get it to those in need.
I think we have organizations.
Our own organization.
Yeah, so you all have, that's what I'm asking. Some of those international organizations can pay for a lot of overheads, and we actually would rather someone on the ground. And then there might be somewhere where we can, now, I know that you say the government is recognized, but that, I mean, this is like apartheid. South African government was recognized, but it didn't stop people from fighting against the actual discriminatory acts of the country. But I just think at this point, this is about people knowing, because this is my first time hearing of it, so I'm glad that you brought this to my attention. If you get that to us, get some county residents also that are part of this, we can start to reach out. I mean, that's gonna matter for the congressional members to do that. Have you all met with any of the Maryland congressional members?
I believe they may have.
Okay, so let me know just because I will need to know before I reach out to them to do that. But we can do a resolution at the council that will get the word out.
Thank you.
And that will be helpful in making sure at least people, some of this has to do with, a lot of these fights, honestly, you talk about Ukraine was well publicized. Well publicized to the point that everyone in every household knew. And that is not happening with a lot of African countries. When we have conflict in the countries, it's often not covered unless you're watching certain channels that cover it. So I think that's one of the things that plagues us, is that it's just not enough coverage. I'm like, my first time hearing this today. So, so when you're saying, this is not, I was not aware of this. So it'd be good for me to learn more information. So
I have a brochure, but I would pass it to you.
Okay, so I think we return to the Haitian.
Yeah, but I also wanted to say that we would like, Waterman Network would like to work with you to be able to work on that resolution with them, because that's why we actually come into the because we have established ourselves a platform under Booker. So let's talk about it too, and then so that we can work together to work with that. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad I'm the other person than before, because what she said resonated with us, the Haitian people. I'm not even going to go over so many things that's been happening, because it is exactly what's been happening to you. I'm just going to add, our president was killed in 2020, and I'm from Haiti, from the Caribbean. So the president was killed by people that are not from Haiti. They were just invasion. So with that said, the problem that we were facing before, it was food shortage, everything she said, I'm not gonna repeat them, is the same. Rape, everything else was there before the president was killed. So once the president was killed, things got very much out of hand. We were made a part of Ukraine, Venezuela, Cuba, other places, Honduras, Guatemala. These places, when you see why they put us all in one, is because we're invaded by people that are not from Haiti. And that's the problem. The bandits, the weapons that are being used to kill Haitians in Haiti are not from Haiti. We don't know where they come from. The government can't fight that war because it is a war that we don't know where it came from. So, as a solution, at the end of the day, after Donald Trump said what he said, believe it or not, Donald Trump did a lot of things in his life. But one thing he did, he brought light to the situations that the world has been facing. When he said what he said about Haiti, which was horrific, he said something about Nigeria, which was horrific, but at the end of the day, everyone was like, oh, okay, so where's Haiti? Where's Nigeria? So where's these countries that he was talking about? And he did brought back to them. So now, the new president, Joe Biden, has become our father. We call him Father Joe Biden. Why? Because we had nothing else left. AIDS couldn't get to Haiti. They were just kidnapping anything and everything that crossed the road. And if you happen to cross the road, they kill you. Everyone was being killed by somebody, by a weapon that we have no control over. And they were cutting roads. Like for them to go from one place to another, it was a 20-minute drive became a 3-day trip because they had to go around a circle. A lot of things were happening. So what the government did as a solution, because the social media, I'm going to ask you guys about the social media, because social media played a big role in how we were discovered and solutions were brought to us. Social media, I'm not crediting them only. There are a lot of Haitian officials in the American system. Okay. And I'm not going to credit just the Haitians, I'm crediting other people that are taking the step to see what's going on and to help us get to where we are, to help the communities grow. I'm not going to say race because I don't want to get into that. It's too much. In Haiti, you're white, you're black, you're Chinese, or anything, they kidnapped you for a huge ransom that you don't even have. They kidnap pastors. Anybody is kidnapped if you go to Haiti. The road is closed. You're not eating. Your money don't matter. Your food, nothing mattered in Haiti. 5 miles is how far a young man could go. If he goes past 5 miles, he'd be kidnapped, disappeared. We would never know anything about that person. So what they did, they came up with an idea that Haitian families in the United States and other people like you can put together and bring our families here to the United States to live with us. With that said, as of January 6, 2023, the Haitians have now been coming to America in large groups. They no longer have to cross the border, do what they had to do with the Mexican government and all. Under the Texas bridge, remember how they found a lot of Haitians and other races, other people, they found them under the bridge and it was a disaster as well. And that brought light to the Haitian community. So now we have a lot of people, a lot of Haitians here. I, as a person, I've been assisting my community in filling out the forms to bring them here. So I have myself had 7 of them already. They don't speak English, they're learning. Many of them do speak English as a matter of fact. I have 7 right now. I'm awaiting 9 more. And I'm awaiting 4 more. So after 15, my organization, myself, other than all the other organizations that have been helping families, we are going to put up applications for anyone and anybody, because that's what the government said. We could bring as many people as we can, as long as we're qualified for it. So yes, we would be able to tell you more, but it's Form I-134A. It's the form we're filling out right now, and it is approved for those countries. Form I-134A found in the USCIS.gov. I'm not saying for you to go do it because that's a step the government has to take first and say, yes, you are approved and you are a part of this problem that we can, a solution that we're going to bring in. So you need to use social media as much as you can to bring the attention of your country to light. You know, we should all join. I should be a friend of yours so that my 6,000, 7,000 followers on my Facebook page can see you. Imagine one person keeps seeing it, so now you're going to spread out. YouTube is there for you. All of this, that's what we need to help ourselves, and we do the same. Haiti is not changed, it's continuing, and I'm sure it's continuing for you too, but I don't know about yours. The identification has been that it's an invasion from people from all over the world. Like the people who killed our president, they were Colombian, and they were found. So,
thank you all so much. I actually have to leave. It's around 5, and so I could be here a couple more minutes. I definitely wanted to thank you so much for that, and that's a good story. I mean, this just shows like there has been a lot of attention on Haiti. I would say, you all were the first independent country in the Caribbean, and it just seems like there's been so much of a target on you all, but we're praying for you, and I'm glad that there is a solution coming to bring you all here. So I'm glad that we will be connecting with you.
I wish you had a few minutes, 2 minutes to tell you about Nigeria, yes.
Yes.
We don't have a solution yet. But I would like you to hear about, I'll stand up for a minute.
Okay.
To talk about it. Okay. It's in Nigeria, there has been several
genocides regarding about the eastern part of Nigeria, which is the Igbo. Nigeria is very vast.
My family's from Imo State.
Oh, they are. So you have an idea.
Yeah.
So the greatest challenge they have right now is the Boko Haram and the Fulani herdsmen that have penetrated. They are very nomadic in nature. They are now in the eastern part of Nigeria.
Biafra all over again.
Yes, and what they're doing is killing people, raping young girls, going to school. They set up whatever in the bushes, and you see these young girls going to school and they rape them, and they're killing people just like that. So it's an issue right now with the Fulani herdsmen in the eastern part of Nigeria. And so the Igbos are trying to see what they can do to get them out of, so they can go where they belong. They belong in the north, where they are from, but nobody is talking about it. So it's a big challenge. And I don't know what your...
Yeah, I've been talking to my family. I've heard rumors of that, and they just want to come to the U.S. So I'll try to see, we need something much more organized. I can't just be talking to family members. Like, I need to talk to them.
Okay, if you need something more organized.
Yes. I need to talk more organized. I know that there's a whole TPS for Nigeria, so they wouldn't go back to Nigeria. So that's going to be something that I'm going to work with the Nigerian Center to support.
Yeah, there was a group that was supposed to be here. Today it looks like everybody, their families, friends, whatever is going on, traffic everywhere. They have literally 10 programs happening conflicting with ours.
And today was just that day, so that's why I got to head out of here.
So we are in touch with that group.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can't base it off of family members. I need some officials
not family members. These are groups that
give me more information. So I am heading out. I want to thank you all for this informative session and learning more about all of the conflicts that are going on. And I look forward to working with both of you through the World Ebony Network. And so can we all take a picture? We're going to take a picture over there. Some of you can... over there? Yeah, somewhere where we could...
You know what, we can take it back there, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
And all go, and that way we may be
Yes,
safer.
yes, come on, thank you. Thank you all so much.
Come along, everyone, come on. So, please. Please, everyone come this way, please. Please. Me.
have good lighting?
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we get
Behind us.
Is everyone in?
Come on, young lady.
Is everyone in?
Back there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the little girl.
Is everyone in?
Nobody's gonna do that.
Everyone in?
I think it's goes you.
Yeah, everyone is on.
Okay, thank you.
Except someone back here.
Okay, Mama, do it.
Yeah, I can't see you. I can see your green. I can't see you. Everybody, we got everybody.
Look this way.
Hold on.
Do we get it one more?
Take more than we will see.
I always take, you just have to pay me when you get up.
I will. If I like it, oh my goodness.
That's it, that's it.
All right, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will take the picture.
Thank you. Well, I mean, that's the point. It's like to get somebody like this so we can, so people can know, what's going on.
Okay, get in 1 second.
Okay, ooh, that's big.
Make sure you send us this picture.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be a bad photographer.
Okay.
All right, let me see that. I feel like I'm gonna like that. Yeah, so next week.
Who doesn't have WhatsApp?
A lot of
Everybody
people.
has WhatsApp.
Speaks volume.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Miss Ketama? Miss Ketama, can we see that?
Yeah, we're coming.
All right, thank you so much. No problem. Good to see you. Okay. All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought you was getting. Oh, that's nice. Okay. I remember you. Yeah, it's right outside.
Miss Ketama, can you ask them to come so that we can elaborate and make sure we get our stuff? way we can see how we can make this a lot more constructive. The reason I'm saying that is because when we created this organization, we structured it in such a way that it would look at a complete package. We looked at a way of life of people. And when you look at a way of life of people, you also have governance. And that's what we call government relations. In our government relations, we looked at resources from people like the vice chair. And we said, okay, what are the things that we could do? Part of it is being involved in legislation. Because if we are not at that legislative space, then they would have already finished making the bill, or sponsoring it, and then it becomes a bill, and it's too late, unless maybe you sit down to try to get them to revise it. So it's been on our website for years. And so, yes, it's good to go and, well, let me give an example of where I'm trying to go. There was a lady that ended up at the hospital because she wanted to kill herself. And she left in her Bible my name and a number of other people's names, and then $4,000, and then said if she died, she had AIDS, but we all didn't know. And so they called me and said that this lady had left, I was one of the people that she said to reach out to. But then what happened was the doctor, she was blessed enough to have a doctor that was from her ethnic extraction. But then the family members, different people kept coming to the doctor. And before she found herself, before I knew she had that situation, or before that incident happened, I was trying to get her into the organization because she's a social worker. I don't know if she's still a social worker, but she was also, we were discussing how she could come and be a part of our organization to help us to be able to reach out to communities, to deal with social work type of social services type of work. So then, when we now try to say, okay, well, what you're experiencing is what we were saying that we wanted to have someone like you help us with.
That's
so
right.
Now, we went to the, So we went to the lawyer, the doctor, just like everybody, and said, this is what our organization, I'm not coming from me as a person, I'm coming from an organization because that's the way we can adequately help this situation. And the doctor told me that he's glad that I came to him because Joe was talking to him, Mary and everybody, all the family, different people talking to him. And that he's not the right person to go to. And that in a short while, that she will become the ward of a ward of the state. Because they needed to follow proper procedure. They needed to understand the procedure. So then we had to introduce the people that came from her church. We found a lawyer. Because that's what our organization, we have a legal referral service. We have different things that we can use, that we can provide to communities. Like we said, we're brokering ethnic groups. So that we can sit down and analyze. I'm not saying you don't know your situations, but there's a way that you communicate with the lawmakers here. And so that we can help with that.
And that's why I was saying, let's work to, we brought you to this platform through us to get to her. Not that you can't go directly. That way, you don't have so much that she has to do. By the time we get to her, she would have already, we would have already, you know, provided to her what they will want. We will help structure it in such a way that it's so succinct, we can identify what the current situation is, where you want to go, what the gaps are, things like that. We do a proper analysis using a certain kind of format and then make the job easy for her, right? So that's what we would like for us to do, because you're dealing with a situation that Cameroon is dealing with. Nigeria is dealing with that. Like she started to say, my family happened to be from Nigeria, even though when I did my DNA, it says that I was 30% Cameroonian and 55% Nigerian. And then I even have Mali and Ghana and stuff like that. And then when I told my mom, she's like, I don't understand what you and those people are doing. But the thing is, oh yeah, you know how they all were. So the thing is that it has been known that certain ethnic groups are not articulating their issues properly. And that's why World Ebony Network said 17 years ago, we've been doing this for the past 17 years, and we said, we have to work on a proclamation like this for all ethnic voices to be heard. And today became that official Achebe Day. This thing is very critical for all our situations. Then that way we can present something. But then the other thing is that, you know, like she said, if we all contribute to America, America should contribute to the other countries. Not necessarily to bring all the brains out of those places, but also to make it a way that it's habitable so that we can return. The intent is not for us to be nomads and then just leave the place. Who are we leaving those places for? So I don't know if we can do an action item and let's meet. Ms. Jean is the president of our DMV chapter, which covers the DMV area, and I'll provide her number, and then we can schedule a time and so that we can sit down and then we can understand how they will want us to present the information, and then we can borrow from what Haiti has done and then put together something that is very constructive. That's what I wanted. I thought we leave this place with today. Is that something that you all?
Yeah, just to give an information about the TPS. I know it's been mentioned a few times. The TPS is already, there is one that is going to be for Ethiopians. So it's in the process of it. However, it has not officially been concluded or approved yet. So what Biden or the US is trying to do right now is it's focusing more on the refugees that we do have, which are in Sudan, in the 3 camps or 4 camps right now. So for those that, the really, really bad situation that we have in Sudan is not everyone that is a refugee actually have gotten the refugee status or their ID that shows from Human Rights Watch that UNHCR that they actually are a registered refugee. So they have to be the TPS to work, or the one that they have in mind right now as of Biden about maybe like a couple months ago. It needs to start with that, with people who are officially registered as refugees or recognized as refugees. Then after that, if they feel or if they see that it is
getting a better response or it's working, they will move on to organizations and individuals, like being able to bring 10 people as she's done. So we are very much aware of that. We have been working with ECDC, the Ethiopian Community Development Council, that has been active and really working for over 40 years in the US. It's highly renowned and is partnered with State Department. So we do have a few more information, or we, as I said, the diaspora people of Tigray have not slept because we have been meeting with, I even have a few friends from Yoruba, Nigeria, because of the Biafra, and so we have been able speaking with the Black Caucus, the African community, because we've seen no matter how big and strong Africa is, we don't come together, sadly, but we would be on top of the world if we all work together in Africa, and I know that's a fact that scares a lot of other people in the West. But because of the way Africa is divided, it's always more of about who benefits what, why should I help, like how is this going to help me? It's always about that, and not really seeing what the impact it has if we actually say, I'm sorry to say this out loud, but because she's Black, I'm gonna stand by her. Like, so I want to say that. I want to be able to say that and not feel bad about it, because that's what's happening with Ukraine. Because they have blue eyes and blonde hair, I should care where they go, or I should care that they became refugees. Everybody's becoming a refugee. We're not any different. So, but no one wants to hear that part of it, because that's the honest truth, and that's not how about that? It's not diplomatic per se. But the moral of the story is what we have been doing. It's the Tigray situation is really difficult and really serious, because we have, just imagine this, you have a government that is ensuring to make sure that you don't speak. So you have a government, you're part of a region within that government, so whatever you say, whatever paperwork you go through, whatever policy you go through, you have to go through the Ethiopian government. Everything has to be approved by that. And that very same government broke its law by attacking its own citizens, by wanting to kill its own citizens. So not are we fighting the other country people, like for example, we have Eritrea, who is its own country, however, has been invited by the Ethiopian government to remain within the region and to do whatever it pleases. So if, for say, you have Russia that attacked Ukraine and you call that invasion, if you have Eritrea that is in Tigray, in Ethiopia, that is invasion. However, they're calling it, well, I thought Eritrea is part of Ethiopia. I thought you guys spoke the same language, but we're not. If Canada invades America, you're not going to say the same language, English, so nothing has happened. But what is happening in a picture when we've been trying to explain to people so they can have a better understanding is, if you are in DMV, we are in DMV, and the US government decides to attack only DMV, right? So your voice is less, or you can't be heard because you have a higher authority above you. So we would love, I'm sure we would love to have that meeting and set up a meeting and have an action item that we can follow through. We have a lot of things that we've done and we continue to do. Right now our focus has been in making sure that humanitarian aid goes back, and there's at least that. We're not even speaking on the siege. We're not speaking on lifting the siege, which is crazy. That's not even in the discussion. However, if that's not the case, the least they can do is feed our people, allow food to go in. And last but not least, right now we have a really important date that is coming up, which is June 30th, the Ebony mandate. Without independent investigation, what Ethiopia has said is, don't worry, we have a Human Rights Council, we will investigate all these crimes that you're saying that we did. Yeah.
The ECDC, right? Is that ECDC?
ECDC.
That has been around for 40 years.
For 40 years, yeah.
When we meet, we would like to be able to identify what has been done and what is left to do, so that we're not reinventing the wheel.
Right, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to properly define, I'm not saying they haven't, but apparently to address it, nobody's listening to, then let's find out, okay, yes, it's at this point. We have to be more definitive. We can't go with just a general, what do you call that? General approach. We have to be more, more specific. Yeah.
So our suggestion, and also what I think is the best approach, is when more people talk, when more from different ethnicity, from different background, from different countries, when more people say, I care about what's happening in Nigeria, I care about what's happening in Haiti, I care about what's happening to Tigray, that's when everyone, lawmakers, decision makers, senators, everyone listens. Because again, that is, we end up voting for them. So we know what we've been saying is we want to make sure that, do you care? Do you care enough to speak about this and really say so and so? So what I've been doing and what we've been trying to do is we want to make sure that we are involved in other people's situations as well, in other people's sufferings and pain and atrocities that are happening. We don't deny what's happening everywhere else. It actually scares me on where we stand right now. So what we're trying to say is, if more votes are coming from the Black community and from DMV or from Maryland or anywhere else, and we are putting in our wording, you are not from Tigray, your name is not Tigray. So because it's not, it has more value, as Melchi mentioned earlier.
But that's why we were here.
Yeah.
I'm not from Tigray,
right?
But our organization is people of African ancestry and appreciating the good aspects of other heritages.
Exactly.
So we're not, the platform, we can't discriminate against white people, we can't discriminate against black people. We're not saying, but then that other part, where we're saying that we want to reinforce the enduring and noble philosophies, principles, and practices of people of African ancestry, right, allows us to understand ourselves. Then, when you understand yourself, then you can appreciate others. You're not going to flounder around. You will now, you can now speak from a position of, this is who I am, this is what my situation is, and they would have more respect for you. So we know that we want all of us to talk about our issues, right? But we also, the point I was making earlier is that we have to put a teeth to it. We have to do it in a way that it's not going to be too long for them, because they're all busy. Everyone is busy too. So we have to be able to do that, and then that way we have to have statistics. We have to document and say, okay, this is where we are, this is how many people, this is what has been done, and I know that information is there, but we have to gather it together. We have to do it not only for you, but for Haiti, for Nigeria and all that. For Haiti, for instance, we've discussed it, and where we are right now with Haiti is where they would like our organization to help sponsor, right? That's what we talked about. We're still talking about what it is that they want our organization to do. They said they have money, but that they want organizations to complete the form for the sponsorship. So they want us to be one of that organization, and we don't see why we can't do that. Yeah. So that's what I would like for us to take out of this meeting. Remember, prior to today, when we were talking about, when I was preparing for this, and I was saying, it's not, we don't want you to focus on what has been happening. We want you to focus on the current, and then where are we going next? So that's how we're going to do that. Ms. Jean, sorry, can you call out your number so they can?
My number is 202.
202.
202 412 3175. And be sure, don't, and I would say this to you because I'm having problems with my phone, don't leave a message, okay? The best, I mean, if I see that you've called me, and unfortunately, I'm having issues with that too. And I've been in contact with the phone company. Sometimes people call me, it doesn't even show. It doesn't even show. So no, if you haven't spoken with me, believe me, I do want to speak with you, okay? Call me back, please, please.
Okay.
Please. That's all I can say. I mean, I wish I had a better answer than that, but I don't.
When Haiti had remember when they had the earthquake?
Yeah.
11 years ago.
Yeah.
We were the first Black organization that showed up at their church, at a church of 700 people. Before we got there, science, what do you call it? The science people? Scientology had already positioned themselves right in front of their church, and they want to talk about, help people with how they're feeling and stuff like that. But the entire time, for quite a long time, we were the only Black organization. Am I wrong? Then the way that we met with the group that asked us to bring you to their church, their synagogue, was at the embassy. Because we immediately in fact, we were just about doing something. That year would have been the Haiti year that we wanted to talk about Haiti. Because I talked to Ezeli a couple of days before. I said, Ezeli, this is what we want to do for Haiti. And she's like, I'm not only just a lawyer, I'm also a poet. And then in fact, it was the day before. The next morning I woke up and I'm hearing about this earthquake. I'm like, oh my goodness, we were just talking about Haiti. So we were able to arrange, and then took her and the pastor of the church,
pastor of the church, and then they drove all the way, because I lived in Virginia at the time, and they drove all the way from Maryland to Springfield.
Yeah.
And they had a service just for them. And that was in 2011. No, 10. Because I went to Afghanistan the next year. So, so that's what I was saying. But she wants to say something.
Excuse me, ladies. I'm afraid I just don't want to walk out without saying excuse
Oh,
me.
no, thank you, I appreciate it. We're actually wrapping up now.
I'm afraid I have to leave. I apologize.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add to what you were saying. I don't want to leave this one, but I know she's leaving, so I feel like they need to make more noise. The Haitian people had to make a lot of noise to get this far. There were people fasting. There were people that were starving themselves. Like, okay, we're gonna go to die, with famine, just so we get to a point where we are heard. We're talking about in front of the White House. We're talking about in the United States, not just in Haiti. They were doing it. It was here. Haitians were lined up and doing a lot of things, making a lot of noise to get to where the president finally heard them. And of course, when they heard them, it was Donald Trump who went to Haiti so far by saying we are from the nastiest place ever, the dirtiest place ever. We don't count without the thing. So and suddenly now we became accounted for. Another thing too is like the refugees you guys have. We need to make more noise about it. Take pictures. It accidentally happened that there was a guy. The white people on the horses that were meeting them on the Texas bridge, under the Texas bridge, and the way they were treating them, he was on his horse, and then he grabbed one by his shirt as he's running his horse. He grabbed the man by his shirt and started dragging him. And as he was doing that, his picture was taken. That picture became an art to show what other people are still going through in 2022. That's what it was. All of that, yes, and that was in a refugee system. So it is someone took a picture. So we need to make sure we are documenting these kind of things so that we get better, we could be heard. That's one of the things that that's benefited us, is when the man was dragging this Haitian man by his shirt. in the water on his horse, like he's riding his black pen, 2022. So I think it's pictures, it's noise that you guys are not making enough noise. All of you, the way you dress right now, I mean, I didn't have to do it because I have forefathers, but it is you now that need to dress the way you are dressed. Go down there in Washington, D.C. and start something. Sleep over there. Maybe someone would come out with a mic and start talking to you. And it looks like it is what a lot of people had to do. We were down to nothing. You said humanitarian aid, that couldn't get to Haiti. Water, nothing could get to Haiti, to anyone. We had money, we couldn't send to Haiti. Everything was happening. Found, lying on the trash. Pregnant woman found on top of a trash can. You know, but the pictures, if somebody didn't say it, didn't put the picture down, how would I have known? How would Donald Trump would have seen it? How would President Biden would have seen it? So those pictures used to come out, like when they were eating men were eating people in the middle of the street with a fork. They were eating them, but the picture was there. So do we have those pictures? So we had to do all that. We saw all of that within our eyes. It was horrific. Like you said, these children have seen it all. They just came here. It's been about 2 months since they get here. They don't speak English, but they saw everything. The parents had to hide. You know, no school. Forget about the school thing. Forget about food. Forget about everything else. The kidnapping was right before them, and then the kidnapping in Haiti is in the middle of the day. So make more noise. In my opinion, you need to make a lot more noise than you are making right now.
I'd like to come calling up or let me stand and speak. Every government from the creation of mankind has been wicked. And when they kill you, they don't want anybody to hear. When they kill you, they don't want anybody to hear. They want to kill you outside. What do? You do David and Goliath. Goliath was so big, David was so small. But David knew his terrain. David knew how to go to the Goliath from under. In the Greek mythology, Achilles, his mother prepared him with all the charms in this world that Achilles, nobody would kill Achilles. But his mother forgot to put charm on his heels. So when he fought with Hector at the Battle of Gladiator, Hector chased him all over. And by the time Achilles lost his heel, that was where Hector struck his spear and he died. So every Goliath has a weak spot. Every Goliath has a weak spot. And the statistics of the world, ordinarily you say every big, strong person will win a weak person, 100%. But the world statistics says they win only 60%. The rest 40% the underdogs win them. You don't fight the government frontally, you fight them from the back. Civil rights. Martin Luther, Malcolm X wanted to fight. The West said they were going to kill, that was when KKK. They say, if you fight us, we are finishing you. Martin Luther said, Malcolm X, if you fight, these people will kill us. We are going to come with peace. And that was why Malcolm X and Martin Luther, they never made themselves. They only shook hands once, and it lasted only 5 minutes. What changed the whole thing of the civil rights was when Martin Luther, with Playboy, did a photo op and presented a boy who the white people wanted to chase with dogs. and the boy was just like this. And the dog was like him. That was the photo, and that photograph went all over the world. See, a Kenyan dog tried to tear a boy. The world said, this thing is too much. You need to document their things. Document it. The fuel and the sickness and the perseverance is what has always won people victory. Your number can make a country, but it's the strategy. You have to be strategic, penetrate every pulse, every hamlet, whoever you know, whoever is your friend, make sure you poison with that issue of that you people are dying. In their church, poison their mind on the pastor that you people are dying. I can't pay my tithe, I can't come to synagogue because my people are dying. The influence of one mind over another is very subtle. If you talk to me today, I may not. Talk to me tomorrow, I may not. By next week, I start confirming what you are saying to me. The influence of one mind over another is very subtle. It doesn't happen immediately. What you are fighting, it may take 5 years to mature. It may take 10 years. It's a game of patience and perseverance. But while you're waiting for patience and perseverance, you must eat. So your problem has 2 dimensions. The hunger, because hunger is an instrument of war. All over. If you study war strategy, hunger is an instrument of war. If I won't feed my enemy. If I feed you, come and fight me. But if I allow starvation to kill you, I've done the job. So nobody you are fighting that will feed you. Yeah? They make sure they don't feed you. If they feed you, it will be the one that will kill you. So what people do is get to your congressman, get around, use opportunity, every avenue, every contact, every friendship, everything you have created within here, and say, these are people. They need more, they are hungry, they need food. My congressman, what do you say this? People in the legislative bodies want people to come to them because they need you. Tell them that people, Tigray people here, we are more than 2,000. I'm telling you, I said, their congressman will run and say, how do I meet them? Because he knows the power of number. He knows the power of number. And each and every of us should be politically conscious. There's one senior senator in Nigeria State now, one of the richest Africans. That was Zerebe. They asked him, Zerebe, the local government chairman, you are interested? He said, I'm interested in every position because the chairman of my community, what he says will affect me. He can tell us that day there will be no markets. I won't go. If the chairman of my community will affect me, the chairman of my church will affect me. Not to talk of the government. Every government in every segment affects you. When we come here, Africans, we are chasing dollar. It's not only dollar. We also have to create an environment for people at home. Do we retire here? What are we doing? Are we creating an economy? Are we eating and driving a big car? Are we creating a generational wealth? Are we selling ourselves? That is what we have to do. Here we have a cause. Ladies, mothers are the first people who win the war. Because they win by emotion. And they also stop wars. If any war is to be stopped, it's the women that will stop it. If people are to run away, the first people they send away, women and children. But remember, in fighting a cause, there's no I will win all. This is I can't compromise. That is we say, the worst thing you can do in negotiation. Because irreducible maximum, when it meets with irreducible maximum, the net effect is catastrophic. So there must be a point where you can say we can compromise. This, but you don't say, hey, I can't compromise, I'm not going to vote with today. If they say earthquake, we do get away. So use every means and every contact you have with friends, with NGO, with the church, to bring your case to the forefront. Don't always rely on social media, contact people, no. Sometimes one person can go to Nigerian embassy, Tigray people are dying. Tomorrow you go to that of Jordan, people will see and say what is happening. The more noise you make, the better for you. The more noise you make, I did a lot, but I know Tigray the other day through my sister. I said, what? I said that thing. And then started complaining. I said, oh. Because the government will give their own version, and your own version will not come out. Don't allow the government to drive the narrative. Don't allow the government to drive the narrative. If they have what you call undercover publications, not too high sounding, but something very simplistic for the ordinary man to hear. It can be Tigray people are dying of hunger. We place it in some areas in Walmart. Tigray people are dying. You stood to a small boy, very macheted, almost. I think people. So you can start small, but the effect will be big. This is my contribution.
Have you done that?
I got it, yeah.
Well, now, have you guys done that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I figured, because you were distributing some flyers when I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying, okay, I'm sure some of those things you've done, but, and I'm sure you'll be getting advice as you are going. But then, of the advice that you're getting, let's look at, okay, which one of it have you done? How have you done it? Right? What was the result? Did you get anything? That kind of discussion is what we would like to, we think will be effective for you. And then have some kind of documentation that very succinct that we can send to her office.
Yeah, sure. We've done a lot.
She's a diplomat. First class diplomat.
But,
You said diplomat.
Thank you guys. I have to head out, but thank you for listening to our stories, and best of luck to you as well. And I'm glad that the PPS is working for Haiti. I truly think, and I'm sure you are following up with major mental health services as well. So good luck with that. But we're happy that at least if somebody's not paying attention to us, it's paying attention to somebody else. That's fine. That's good. It will.
Are you a Peach County resident?
No, I am Virginia.
Oh, you live in Virginia?
I'm in DM, yeah. So.
All of you?
No. Well, we are part of the DMV Tigray Women Association, so we're everywhere. But
do you have a group that lives in Fiji?
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
Your members.
Yeah.
So when we sit down, we would like to know which schools.
Okay.
Yes, we don't have that kind of statistics. Where do your children go to school? Where do you live in PG? She can do most of, even though she could affect, I mean, if she knows the other people in other places, but this PG is where she's the vice chair.
No, I understand.
Yeah, so let's sit down and be able to articulate those kinds of things so that we can have statistics like she can just look at and then do her part while you still continue to do the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like what he said right now. When I go to Walmart, the most prominent places, I haven't seen anything on Tigray. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some churches, they stand in front of Walmart and they give out their tracts. Are you guys doing that?
We have people who've done in their own churches, people who go to church or
No, in front of Walmart.
Not that I know of, again. But we have over, since the start of Tigray genocide, we have over 300 Tigrayan organizations, NGOs that have been created and registered throughout the world.
Okay, so let's take a, see what it is that they're
Right,
doing.
so
Yeah.
like we have been, like we really have been getting advice and support basically from everywhere else that a conflict is taking place, because we are learning from that experience, because we woke up one morning and then you have, the sky is falling on you. So, but because sadly other people have suffered, they taught us what they were able to do and to get back here.
Have you ever heard any of the government officials sound the way she sounded?
Well, not for Maryland, because I'm not from
No,
Maryland,
not Maryland,
but
other places.
yeah.
Did they do anything?
Well, they have done. They have been doing. Some of them have been signing the HR 6600, the Senate Bill 3199. We have put in some things like
all
that.
of that information.
Yeah.
And then that way we'll let her know. Like we said, the end goal should avoid duplicating the real.
Yeah. Efforts.
So.
Okay.
And I know it's a lot because you work as well.
I do. Well, my job is to guide 24/7.
Yeah, it's 5 days a week.
That's how it is with Walden Network.
Space.
Yeah, that's how it is with me. I have a very full-time job in the real world that pays my bills. But then when I get off work, this is what I do. And I'm 55 years old. And to be honest with you now, I'm beginning to feel like, okay, wait a minute, I'm getting old. Yeah, I'm seeing the wrinkles and all that. I'm like, okay, I have to kind of like begin to start slowing down. But if it wasn't, this is the only dent that I would say that we've gotten that is so meaningful, that would help with all those things in the past 17 years. That okay, let me not say that, because we have endowed scholarships now there, but this is one of them. And this is very profound too.
Good milestone.
Yeah. So you're doing a great job. Thank you, Mama. All these women and women hold. You are the ones that when things happen, you're like our children, our men. Like I said before, that's what you're doing. And I commend these women, and we're capturing it here. Let's see what we can do with this. We now have partners who are, if you came earlier, you would have seen some of our partners that are in Africa now, and then they were even sponsoring this thing, a dance from Nigeria. That's what we're doing. So we're connecting the dots. That's what Professor Yang, Suleiman had said, is a part of Water Network, because I want Water Network to connect the dots. We're not saying that other organizations are not doing anything, but I, being born in America to African parents, Nigerian parents to be precise, and they took me to Nigeria, and then I came out here, and then I'm still singing the same song that they sang, and I'm not seeing our community doing that. It's very concerning. And I tell the older ones, I'm like, you know what? I am the voice of your children. Your children, you don't want them to sound like me in 50 years. And they have not connected with us that were here in the 60s. They didn't connect it, and that's what we do. So let's go back and look at the things that we have done. We take stock, and then be able to say, okay, you know, we've done this well, we haven't done this well. Why haven't we done this well? Are we even able to meet at the times that they want us to meet? Which is one of the things that we told DC, the Office of African Affairs in DC. They wanted to have meetings during the day. And we said, you can't have meetings for African people during the day because they're working. They don't have backbones like people who will give them money while. So those are some things that we also have to do. When we take stock, we'll be able to say, okay, who's able to work on this day? We have our African American counterparts. We've got to connect with them. We've got to connect with the Caribbeans and all of that, so that we're able to be able to do this thing and do it well. So having said that, we'll just wrap up the session. And you purchased a table, so I guess we'll see you again at 7. Are you going to perform? There was a
yeah.
Are you performing? You're
Okay.
dancing? All right. Okay. So I would let this, I would let her go to Milton because she was supposed to be my, what do you call it, co-moderator. So let her round up and then we will now let you go and then prepare for some PM.
Thank you all very much for coming. This is a wonderful event. And like she said, keep doing what you're doing. And he made a point that is very significant. You have, the more noise you make, the better. It doesn't matter how you make it. So what you're doing is great for your people. And I wanted to thank everyone for coming. Hopefully she will take it forward, move it forward with her, the honorable representative. So we're happy that you guys were here. And hopefully we'll get to meet again. I'll meet you guys. And since you live in Virginia, like
And so since your organization is, we just recently met and you're coming from education part, they have an impact on it. Whatever's going on is impacting education in that area. They have a magazine. So that's where you come in.
Yes.
We all have to be very strategic.
actually, this last publication
I have an organization. What we're trying to do is have quality education in Africa. And when they talk about teachers, we believe that for Africa to have effective schools, you start with the school leader, who they call head teachers or principals. And so we have been having professional workshops, enhancing their leadership skills so that Africa will have effective schools. And we've penetrated so many countries in the sub-Saharan Africa. The last magazine we published this month in June, we have an article from Ethiopia. So I'm going to send you guys a link to see. And so what we try to do is use that forum or that medium to increase their leadership skills or enhance their leadership capacity so that we can have effective schools in Africa. And so hopefully in the future, Dr. Mecha and I will collaborate and do a whole bunch of things.
Thank you very much, Dr. Miller. And so that's, I don't know, do you want to say anything?
Oh, no, it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
We could talk all day here, but yeah, I would love to get the link just so we can read through it. But yeah, thank you for really just opening up and wanting to help. Honestly, sometimes just someone just saying, how can I help is the greatest thing you can hear. Our case, as I said, it has, within even the Tigray, within the PG County and also DMV, we have a lot of supporters that are supporting the Ethiopian government. So we may be all Ethiopian, but we're completely divided.
Your case is the same as the Eastern Nigerian.
Yes.
Because
so,
when I was born,
so it makes it really difficult to do a lot of.
Exactly.
So
when I was born in 1967 in Tuskegee, Alabama, when my dad was a student, and they were having the Civil War, they were showing me, my parents were showing me when they are called upon to talk about the war, and they show me as the child what the Eastern Nigerian child should look like. Because at that time during the war, because of the starvation, there were children who were, they had large stomachs, they had big heads.
They call it kwashiorkor.
Yeah.
That's the word for it.
Exactly.
I was a war child, like she's describing.
Yeah.
With all those malnutrition. That's the effect of malnutrition.
Exactly.
There was no baby milk or whatever that children
would eat.
So that's malnutrition.
Yeah. So I was that exhibit.
Of the perfect, a good
children should look like, yes. And
And so some communities, like you said earlier, have been through that. And so 55 years later, look at me talking about it. And so we'll be positive, and we will have a good result. Okay?
Thank you.
Collaboration is the key, and now that we have something that will now shine a light on different ethnicities, we will now use that to work harder and push harder. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Proud of you. Proud of you.
Yeah.